Once I saw the light, once there was no fight, once you did what's right, once I called you friend. I know somewhere you remember, they said that you could be better. That hope isn't dying, ever. You just want to see that! See how far you can ascend! No, we can never make amends! Go for the sake of play, deny his light of day, till I sit in your way. Guess we're doing this the hard way.
Welcome back to the hood. Part 2 of the student exam, not the Undertale what if, obviously. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Y'all messing with the stories? Y'all feeling good? Got you some water, some drink? Y'all what y'all be doing when y'all be listening to my long in a mug what ifs? I'm just asking questions, you know. I don't really need to know, but you know, it could be cool to know. Maybe, possibly. Still ain't got no beeps. We out the hood, technically. Not really. I'm gonna let you know that right now. It's not accurate, but whatever. Yeah. New stuff. It's gonna be new stuff at the new announcements. Announcements. I'm gonna talk about it at the end, and then my next, not the one after this, but the one after that, y'all see it because I said so. No, I'm joking. But for real though, announcements, man. You know, we got new stuff doing. We got new stuff to do. End of the season 2. We got new stuff to do. You feel me? I hope to see you there. But yeah, we ran down on almost everybody. You know, everybody got their turn. You know, some people lost, some people won. You feel me? You know, we go into the last fight of the day. You know, Sans was surprised that he was the last fight of the day anyway, but you know, I mean, somebody had to be last, I guess. Fritz wanted to go way earlier than this, but you know, they weren't called up. So they ended up going to, you know, where the fight is supposed to be held. It's another cityscape thing. They got multiple of these things. So, you know, they ended up walking in. You know, back at the monitoring room, you know, but Bakugo, Papyrus, they came in. You know, they just got done with the nurse. It's like, wow, Sans, you see that? Wait, where'd Sans go? You know, Kirishima came up, and he's like, yeah, bro, I think, he's like, yeah, they just got to their fight. And Papyrus was like, what, they still ain't had their fight yet? Lazy bones. You feel me? Oh, let me watch, you know, let me see what my brother is on, you know, Fritz and my brother. I'm sure this will be a glorious fight. Only for then, you know, after, you know, Papyrus and Bakugo show up, all the other teachers start showing up too. You know, they trying to see the fight too. It's Principal Nezu even there. He on Aizawa's shoulder and shit. You know, everybody there, you know, it's starting to get a little bit like, man, what's going on? You feel me? Like, you know, it's a whole bunch of people watching this fight. You know, it's almost everybody in the classroom, everybody, you know, all the teachers. And that's when Char look over and it's like, hey, Principal Nezu, who is fighting Sanson first? And, you know, Principal Nezu looks over and is like, huh? I'm like, what do you mean? It was like, I think that was all of the teachers. I don't know, unless you hired another hero to show up. I mean, or there's a teacher I'm not remembering. I don't know who's fighting them. It's like, yes, a hero I called. You know, I had to, because, you know, all the teachers that I had, you know, were fighting P.2, and I just felt like it wouldn't be right to have them see a teacher fight a student and then have them fight another student. You know, I wouldn't have wanted my teachers to have to run multiple rounds with their own students. So yes, I wanted it to be one round. So I called a friend, you know, a friend who actually handpicked both of these students of mine. And Charles, you know, like, you know, some suspicious, you know, Principal Nezu is the closest thing to a monster in the room other than Papyrus and Azrael. So she kind of trusts him a little bit, but not fully. But she also ain't got no jurisdiction to do anything about this. So she's like, I mean, all right. They look at the screen, Sans and Frisk, they walking, and, Frisk, obviously, like, man, I mean, I feel like we would have seen something by now, the last city thing, All Might kind of, like, just blew up the whole area, so they ended up finding them immediately. We've been walking for a while, we ain't seen nothing. And Sans is like, yeah, all the teachers ended up fighting anyway, so maybe they ran out of teachers. We get to win this one for free. And before Frisk even, start conversating with that, they start hearing clapping. Somebody slowly clapping their hands. Instantaneously, bro. Sans is recognizing. Frisk, she looking around. And they look up. They see Gaster on a Gaster blaster. It's like, it's an interesting hypothesis, Sans. As he comes down, Sans, this is the most serious Sans has ever looked, especially the first one, especially everybody that's in the room, right? In some of the Gaster Blaster, he prepared. As soon as Frisk sees Sans that serious, man, she pulled out the stick, right? She pulled out the staff that she conjures with her determination. And we get a flashback to, them, all the teachers in the room, right? Coming up with who they was going to fight or who they was supposed to fight and how they was supposed to act while fighting them. You feel me? Obviously they needed to get the guard dog UA person from the, outside to fight Char and Azrael. They didn't know if that was going to be too much for Char and Azrael because they haven't seen Char and Azrael fight like that for real. But, and especially not together. But they still was missing 1-for-1 group. So, my boy Nezu was looking at the only people that was, hadn't been picked yet and was like, I got somebody I could call for it, That's just on some Prince Nezu shit. You feel me? He, him and Gaster obviously got a rivalry. But they ain't, opposition. You feel me? They still cool at heart. He just don't like the fact that Gaster is hella smarter than him because his whole thing is being smart and an animal. You feel me? So, cutting back to the fight, Gaster looks at Frisk and Sans and is like, don't worry, I won't be too difficult with you. You could think of this as a little experiment in this to fight, man, right? Sans, obviously he ain't even gonna try. He ain't even gonna let Gaster get the first strike. He summoned them bones up. You're right. He trying to shoot some bones out. Frisk done ran off. She running up a building, right, coming down, trying to attack him. The smoke gathers. And Gaster, right, who got all these hands on. You feel me? He got hands that caught the staff, right? Hands that's done blocked the bone attacks. He's like, very, very interesting. As he throws Frisk back at Sans, it's like, I know you can do better than that. Come on, show me what UA has taught you, And at that point, because everybody just gotta try, right? He got Frisk in, he's holding Frisk at the moment. He teleported to the sky, and he tries to teleport to where he sees the exit is, only for that shit to get jammed, right? Ends up teleporting straight back to where Gaster is, while black darkness, just the void, ends up spreading spreading out of Gaster's feet. Him coming back, him being remade in this world, gave him some of the powers of the void a little bit, but it's most definitely stopping Sans's teleportation. But yeah, he's like, Gaster's like, come on, Sans. Running isn't going to help. And, before Gaster attacks, Sans is like, well, I had to try. You feel me? Whatever's going to help him, stay out of the fight. You feel me? But You know, my nigga had to try. So Frisk wins to stuff with Gaster. It kind of phases through him a little bit. Kind of him like, you know, dodging it as well. Both happen. He let go of Sans, you know, kind of phase out of existence, you know, kind of a little bit. You know how Gaster be. It's kind of hard to. He morphed into the void a little bit, right? The whole void, like the whole area turned into the void. They're kind of just stuck in his area now, which also means that there's no cameras being seen right now, and anybody can actually see them. They just see like a black area. You feel that's it, you know. So, you know, my boy Sans, you know, he got the Gaster Blasters out. You know, he back to back with Frisk. They don't know what to do right now. It's not looking great for them, but they gonna keep fighting, especially because they don't know what happens if you lose this. If you don't pass the test. You know, if you're not passing the test, could mean anything, and they don't want to find out. They want to win. Either way, Gaster Blaster from the ceiling down to him. They both got dodge. Gaster pop up behind Frisk because they went two different ways. You know, she tried to use the staff to hit him. He just effortlessly dodging them boys. Caught it with the hand. You know, used his other hand, push her way far back. All of a sudden, Sam's behind him because even though he can't teleport away, he can still teleport in the area. With the Gaster Blaster, he behind him though. You know, tried to hit him with that beam. It wasn't working. He says, man, y'all need to work on y'all teamwork. Then again, I guess y'all haven't really been on a team before. You know, as he grabs Sans by the legs, slams him to the floor, then throw him back to where Frisk is. You know, they both get up. And, you know, Frisk worried about Sans, right? Because he got 1 HP, at least from what she remember. And, you know, Sans get up. Now, the thing about Gaster, first of all, he wouldn't be trying to hurt or kill any of these individuals anyway, right? So even if Sans did have 1 HP in this, you know, situation, it probably would have did like 0.2 maximum for, you know, just because Gaster is very specific when it comes to, you know, how much he fights. You know, he got the Papyrus thing going where it's like, you know, he's just careful for real. You know, he just like that. He's able to do just enough whenever he wants to. You know, and that's what it is. You feel me? That's where Papyrus get it from. Sans get up and he like, hey, don't worry about me. We're not gonna have that luxury if we actually have to fight him. And you know, and Frisk, you know, she like bet it up. And Gaster's like, don't be shy now. They can't see. Come at me with everything you've got. And they rush him, you know. They had to. Full sprint from Frisk. She extra determined. She trying to win for real. She running full sprint. And she got to dodge, like, you know, different hands that's rushing past her and stuff. Different bones, right? Stands tries to up some bones under Gaster's feet. He jumps up. Frisk used her staff to jump up too. You know, trying to hit him in the air. He catch the staff. She let go of the staff. Then, you know, straight tackle him, trying to hit him with the 1-2 while he on the ground. And then the hands was back, and they got beams in them this time. That's what I'm saying. It's had to teleport her out of that situation, and then put a Gaster Blaster above. At the same time, Gaster was Gaster feeling it. He like, okay, bet. They taking me serious, bet. I'm trying to see something. You feel me? And to even stand a chance against Gaster, you know, my boy Sans, he going all out for real. Once he see that Gaster had blocked the Gaster Blaster using the laser from the Gaster Blaster, using one of his Gaster Blasters, he, in the middle of that, all three of them teleport into a different area of the void. It's not like they can leave the void. They don't know how to. And, first gotta adapt, right? She gotta immediately realize what's going on. Gaster does too. He figures that Sans would have, pulled this out eventually. And to give Frisk some time, two Gaster blasters, one in the front, one in the back, different levels of height. This is Gaster. He dodged the first one, zoomed by the second one before it even gets the shot off. Then, the staff is dropped right in front of Gaster's face, and more is coming. It's like they shooting, boom, 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 all into the floor. They trying to hit him. But he's slippery. It's like a slippery snake on him. He got that on him. He got the movement speed. Plus he in the void. It's even up in the dodge feature. You can't touch him even if you thought you did. Anyway, they teleport from that to like the whole top and bottom area. They like floating in the middle area. The top and bottom area is filled with bones now, and Sam's prepared to drop them hoes. And Frisk, who's like in the middle of it, realizing that she just like right here in front of Gaster, she like, okay, bet, secret, time to pull out the secret move. She get into like a sword stance, and that staff turned into a sword, man. She had the sword the whole time. She used the staff to hold back on niggas. Gaster didn't know that. she thought she just had the stick on her. Now she got the sword. She deciding the fate. Putting this situation, she said, "Oh, I can't hold back on this one. The Sans getting too serious. I'm about to win." Pulled out the sword, hit him with that quick draw speed. She could have sworn she hit him. She almost knew that for a fact. The fact that it didn't, yeah, Gaster might be taking them a little bit more serious too. Apparently, either way, once it misses, Sans let the bones drop. All of a sudden, they realize they on ground again. Don't know how that happened, because they could have sworn it was just in the air. And then the bones got blocked by like invisible walls. They don't know what the fuck going on. But Gaster enjoying himself. You feel me? Sans kind of figured that because he can just summon the void whenever he wanted. He probably manipulate this house too. But he was hoping that was just like the worst case scenario, and it wasn't accurate. He manipulating the fuck out this void. It's not. He ain't getting hit with nothing. He dodging everything. I guess if nothing else, guys are trying to see how far they willing to go with this shit. And he getting what he want. You feel me? First thing already pulled out the sword. She ain't putting it back up. And Sans been teleporting and really trying his best this whole time. It's just been fruitless so far. It's just been fruitless. This is the real final boss right here. Ain't no other final bosses until you get to this one. You feel? Either way, one of Gaster's, separated hands palms the fuck out of Frisk's face and sent her flying back into Sans, who does catch her and then teleports, not really knowing where the fuck they teleported to, because they don't know because the dimensions of the void didn't change. So they somewhere in this bitch now. You feel me? Only for Gaster to pop back up. It's like he popped out the walls from the void that they didn't even know where the walls was. That they gave, from his perspective, walls could be everywhere. Maybe there is and isn't walls at the same time in every layer of the void. Either way, what is Stan supposed to do about that? But he pop up. He's like giant, like almost, it's large enough hands to grab both Frisk and Sans in one palm. But they, come out the wall, trying to, grab them both at the same time. As Sans and Frisk were spinning, she pulled that sword back out. You feel me? Ended up actually cutting the hands, which is finally, they finally got at least one hit on them. You feel me? Yeah, they were spinning around and using the movement of the spin. She pulled that sword out and cut their hands. They continue to like fly. They just using the momentum they had when they first got when they first crashed into each other, and then they hit the floor almost immediately. So now Sans know for a fact it don't matter where they go. It's wherever the battle is wherever they at basically, and it's still a problem. And Gaster, he assumes that Sans has figured it out already, especially with that one. And he like walks out of the void, like allowing himself to be seen again. And he's like, have I demonstrated enough of my power? Have you two realized how impossible it is to fight me? And Frisk, Sans, they look up and they just see him aura farming. He got the hands circling and behind him. He got two hands in the back. That's the man that speaks in hands, all right? So he had the box. Come on now, there was no other options. I'm just not talking for it. Either way, he looks at them, almost with a cold, calculated expression. Like he really trying to see what they about. And he's like, what is your decision? Will you concede or will you struggle in vain? And hearing that Frisk, that determination start pumping again. She want to struggle to the bitter end. There's no other options. Some inside her it's just powerful, my guy. It's just powerful. It's like, even if I gotta die behind it, as long as I stand, as long as I can stand, as long as I can still swing, as long as I can still breathe. And before she can even say nothing, Sans stands up and he says, normally I would have given up a long time ago. But it must be something about this world that makes me think that giving up isn't an option anymore. Behind them, rows of Gaster blasters. They rows of them, rows of large Gaster blasters. They just continue to spawn in the distance. And and Gaster, obviously, because they continuously can spawn or are spawning, can just stop him from doing it by running up and punch him in his face or something. He can most definitely stop this at any point. And Frisk stands up, soul slowly exiting out of her body, shining with like a new light, determination to hit his peak. She says, I may not have been everything I wanted to be in the last world, but I can guarantee this world, as a smile, falls into her face, as she opens one eye, blindingly red. It's like a golden red, though, like one of those vibrant reds. As she says, creates a hope within me I can't ever extinguish. As she draws the sword, or she gets in the position, the stance for the sword on the hip, the determination radiating through the area, as Sans is still putting more and more Gaster blasters in the background. This whole scene, Gaster can only smile. He's like, you know what? I might have been worried about Sans for no reason. And it's like this little nigga Frisk. She looking alright too. I might have just sparked some new strength in her. And with her rifle charge, she ain't too far away from that. Gaster happy. So instead of interrupting anything, he moves his hands from behind his back to in front of him and says, then come. Frisk immediately swings the blade, large ass slash motion. It's like she put her whole sword into it because the sword disappeared as she was swinging. And projectile thing they be doing in the animes, whatever. It's a large one, right? And it's flying out at Gaster full speed very quickly. But what's quicker is these Gaster blasters. My boy Sans let them boys fly. And they catch up almost instantaneously. Right there, they trying to they crashed. They trying to crash into Gaster. And from the outside perspective, they don't know what's going on. You know, we got Char out here, like, dang, they've been in there for a minute. Azrael, like, man, I don't know. I mean, this is Gaster, of course. I mean, we know who Gaster is. I don't even know they could win in this. And Papyrus, you know, he like, yeah, I believe in Sans and Frisk. I know they'll be all right. They'll be fighting to the bitter end. I just know it. You know, my boy Bakugo's like, you think Sans is fighting to the bitter end? He probably already gave up in there. It's just Frisk fighting. You know, Ochago's like, dang, you mean, I understand, you know, it's like, dang, we trying to take the test together. You don't think he would have fought harder because of Frisk was there? Yeah, that's when other people in the background, you know, Jiro, Mina, Dinky, you know, the little group, Kirishima, Sarah was like, yeah, don't be talking down on your classmates, Bakugo. Damn, you feel, it's like, Bakugo turned around, he's like, shut up. I've known him from the longest. Y'all can't have more faith in him than I do. Shut the fuck up. And as he says that, big ass explosion exits out the void. It's like a large number of fucking. First of all, like as he said that, big ass like rumbling is felt, big ass explosion is heard. They looking at the video feed of like one of the cameras that was like further away because they can't see anything on the inside anyway. It's like it's like the whole area nuked. It's like reddish and white, blue together. It's just like a whole cloud of like it's just the energy that's around there in the entire area. Like, how do I explain this, bro? So the void area pops, and not only does the void area pops, it's you know, some of the buildings, the ground, it looks like there was a huge ass fight in the area, even though nothing is destroyed. Kind of, it's just damaged. And outside the area now, it's way more like, you know, because of the beams, the slash that's in there. You feel me? And when Char recognizes like the large ass slash that's in one of the buildings, she's like, oh shit. You know, she don't say this out loud. She's like, first pull out that sword. Char would have knew about it. So Azrael. And you know, Papyrus height. You feel me? They see in the beams. It's like Bakugo. Yeah, I told you, Bakugo. Niggas in the background talking about we told you. Nah, Bakugo ain't hearing that shit. There ain't no fucking way he was trying that hard. Nah, that's his dad. I know he was taking it easy on him. Man, he was talking. But none of that, you know, none of that's confirmed right now. He's just over there. You feel me? He emotional at the moment. You know, the camera zooms in. They see Frisk and Sans down there about to pass out. Felt like they was in there for days. Sans leaning on Frisk's shoulder. And you know, they don't see Gasper no more. They don't know where he went. It's just them there right now, you know? So it's not like, so of the two requirements, they're not strong enough to move at the moment. And the teacher isn't in cuffs. So, you know, they start walking, you know, limping in areas, you feel me? They're trying to find this exit. They weren't far away from it, which was good. This was around the corner. Gaster could have showed up hella late, walked around the corner, and would have found them. Ain't that some shit? Anyway, they exit because it's not like Gaster wasn't just gonna allow them to put them cuffs on him, because that would have felt like, you know, he lost and not that he allowed them to leave. Because that's really what happened. From the void to the it's not like they broke out the void. He just allowed it to pop. It's not like they actually won. He just stopped fighting them. So when the fucking, what's it called? The gate starts like, oh yeah, Sans and Frisk, they won. Congratulations, type shit. Is the same moment that Gaster walks into the camera room, and finds Nezu and the rest of the classmates. And they turn around and he's like, "Wait, that's their dad." He bows a little bit and says, "Thank you for being friends with my sons." And they all like, "Oh man, he's mad cool, damn." Yeah, wait, hold on, because they gotta like actually respond. So like, no, it's not too hard to take care of them. Be friends with them. They cool. This that. They talking. And Nezu turns. He's like, "You put up that void and block the cameras, Gaster." And he's like, "Yeah, well, some people are camera shy. They can't do their best unless they're not on camera." And that just like any argument that could have broken out from that, it was like, it's like in his head, the chess game is still continuing. He done hit him with another check, and he's not happy about getting put in check so many different times. But yeah, at the same time, he can't let Gaster just have it. So he says, "And you were supposed to be at the arena. Why are you here while they're exiting the gate?" He's like, "Well, I mean, I put them to my own test inside the void, which was probably a little bit harder than yours. But once they escape the void, and one of his hands do a quotation mark in the background, like after they escape the void, they I decided that they won. Also, I'm here to return these weighted cuffs that you gave me, because like All Might, he had them boys on him too." And that's the answer to his question. He didn't do anything wrong. He allowed them to win because he was satisfied with the amount of effort they put in. And Nezu's okay with them winning. It's not like he actually cared about that or not. He's more upset that he didn't get to see how they won or more of Gaster's powers because of it. He just just a little bit upset. Then again, he don't know if he would have seen anything that he wouldn't have already known anyway. So, yeah, that's the individuals that won. Still got some individuals that lost. Not us though. Not the people that I'm talking about. Either way, no matter what Gaster feels like is going on, Principal Nezu need a detailed report about what happened in that sphere. That's what he's asking for, so he can verify the passing of their test. So technically, they don't know if they passed the test or not, even though they fought like hell. But that's besides the point. Gasser will go do it because he in somebody else's house right now. You gotta clean the dishes when niggas ask you to clean them dishes. You feel me? Anyway, Principal Nezu wouldn't have been satisfied unless he got a little bit of something, which is why he said, that's why he mentions Frisk's turning, Frisk's true determination weapon showed up, and it was a sword. Guess she got serious or something. You feel me? Anyway, yeah. The rest of the day go by, niggas going home and shit. See them villains, right? My boy Shigaraki, he got a picture of Bakugo and shit. Mad. He mad. It's that All Might type shit. You feel me? He was weird when he was younger. Or no, he was weird at the start of the series. I don't know how much older he is at the end of the series than at the start of the series. It doesn't matter. So they get the knock on the door and shit, right? We got Dobby, Toga. You feel me? Somebody that's talking to Toga too. Looks like they're in the same age group. They've been talking since they got here. Early they've been talking like on the way here the whole time, and they go in there and they introduce themselves. We got Dobby. You feel me? You got Toga. You know how she introduced herself. And the third dude, he ain't really trying to even introduce himself like that. He's staying more silent, more reserved. He's trying to see what the actions is. He don't even know if he want to be here for real. The other two was here because of Stain, but he didn't give a fuck about Stain for real. He was here, he heard it was some villainous groups going around. He trying to see if this the one that he want to be a part of. Yeah, obviously Shigaraki ain't fucking with it, right? Said we got some rude guy that's not even gonna say his real name. We got a weird child, and we got another a rude child. You feel me? We don't fuck with none of these. Corey, you get him out of here. You feel me? Motherfucker didn't even speak once during the introduction. He said, "Nah, that's a rude child. We ain't fucking with none of them. Get him out of here." Corey was like, "Come on now, you don't think you might need a little bit of that help?" Words were exchanged. A fight broke out. Korigiri had to, deplete the fight. That one boy was still over there chilling. He was acting like he was chilling he was acting like this was not having anything to do with him. He would not have to be worried about anything in the slightest, no matter what the quirk was. That's what he was acting like. Anyway, Shigaraki got mad. You feel me? You leave. And you go think about some things. You need some conviction. Motherfucker needs some real heart, some real reason to continue this villainy. Yeah, he went to kill All Might, but what's the reason? What's the purpose, nigga? What's the product? He needs to see it. So he leave real quick. About to go on a journey of self-discovery. Nah, I'm joking. Back to the crew. Apparently these niggas, they were stressing about they was gonna make it to the field trip. And some niggas did fail, right? We got the normal niggas that failed. We got Dinky, Mina, fucking Saro. I felt like somebody else failed too. But whoever failed in canon also failed here. Written exam, everybody passed that apparently. And, they all going on the trip. It's just some niggas that failed gonna have to do some extra hard studying. You thought it was gonna be lit. Nah, get your ass into school, my nigga. I'm about to study your ass completely. Nah, I'm joking. But for real though, obviously, like I said previously, Principal Nezu was satisfied with the information of Frisk, even though he does feel like this nigga Gaster is just blatantly hiding shit from him. Even now, he gonna let him have it, because if he let him have this piece, maybe he gonna take a king or a queen later. You feel me? Take a rook. You feel me? Take a rook or a queen later. That's all he's thinking. He gonna be able to, use it against him eventually down the line. One day. He don't know. He really don't know what the fuck going on no more, man. He really been trying to rack his brain around it. He gonna put it in the goddamn detective board with all the other evidence that he got of shit that this nigga done did, and he just don't understand how this nigga could do it. But that's besides the point. After school, they was all together and stuff, right? Everybody had showed up to the mall. They trying to buy stuff. Niggas trying to take their mind off of this studying they got to do in that field trip. You feel me? My boy Sans. But yeah, while they up there, niggas split into groups and shit, right? We got Papyrus out there, most popular, most handsome, most excellent. Anyway, we got him with the groups. You feel me? Kirishima, Mina, shit, who else? I just feel like he matches their personality. Who else matches their personality like that? Bakugo probably would have went with them too. At least, maybe. And then Bakugo went, Ochako would have. And then she would have ran away. Nah. He would have been talking about joining the group. And Ochako would be like, okay, I'm trying to join too. And then she would have looked at him. And she would have got flustered and ran away. And my boy Sans would have been like, look at you. Scaring the hoes. Bakugo would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I didn't even do shit this time. And then my boy Sans gone. He done left with his group. Damn Momo, Jiro, Dinky. Because somebody got to look after Dinky in this bitch. You feel me? No, for a fact, it's not going to be Jiro. She don't give not one fuck, apparently. I don't know what it is, but I feel like she don't ever be giving no fucks, bro. They be out there running straight into walls. Jiro just be laughing from the sidelines. That should be sad, but it's all right. Either way, everybody else get into their groups and shit. And it's just Bakugo. Alone. Motherfucking mad. Still, now, normally this would happen to a less competent character. But I feel like it's important for it to happen to Bakugo here. Where, my boy just walking around, all of a sudden he get wrapped around. He's like, hey, I done seen you on TV before. You know, man, you that one kid, right? I was in that sports festival. Motherfucker look at him and I'm like, man, who the fuck you talking? Then he got that hand on his chest. Most of the fingers, he got 2 fingers not on this nigga chest right now. Motherfucker Shigaraki over there smiling at him, said, let's go sit down somewhere. And you can try to fight, but I'll kill everybody in this bitch. Bakugo, he be keeping his head on a swivel. He got caught lacking this time. He wasn't expecting to get jumped in the streets just because he be trying to become a hero and shit. But he should have, and he gonna do better next time. He ain't even gonna make no excuses about it. He got caught lacking, lacked the fuck up. Anyway, they go sit down somewhere. You feel me? This nigga still got his hand on his chest and shit. You feel me? He just trying to play it cool. He started talking to him, this nigga, all about his business and shit. Like, man, I've been feeling a lack of motivation. Motherfuckers showing up. That Stain shit happened, and now everybody talking about Stain. Man, I don't even know if I want to keep doing this shit, but I know I want to kill All Might. The fuck, you feel me? Why the fuck is All Might getting so much praise? Why the fuck is All Might so fucking popular? Why is he so great? Why the motherfucking public love this nigga so much? You feel me? And Bakugo, he was hearing this shit, and he was trying to argue back about, like, man, I don't want to hear about your bullshit backstory. Turn yourself in. And that's when one of them fingers dropped on him. He was like, hey, don't get too loud. You don't want to cause a scene. Everybody fearing death. All right, there ain't nobody trying to die early, no matter what's going on. I know it's Bakugo, but come on now, this nigga regular degular when it comes to that life shit. Dust? Ain't nobody trying to get turned into dust in this hoe. You feel me? Anyway. So yeah, Shigaraki continued, and he's just not seeing a reason. Like, what the fuck is going on, man? What is it about All Might that makes this shit so fucking grand? You feel me? And Bakugo, he really started thinking about it, right? He been hanging out with Sans. He been hanging out with Papyrus. He's gotten an understanding of other people and other people's interpretations, especially because Sans do this shit like it's his job. You feel me? And Papyrus does this shit naturally. Sans does this shit like he's been doing this shit for years, and Papyrus does this shit like instinctively. So whenever he does have a conversation about somebody else with one of them niggas, he knows that he about to get into a conversation about what them niggas are most likely actually like. So hearing this shit from Shigaraki, and he starts thinking about the whole global scale of why people fuck with All Might. He's like, man, this motherfucker here, if you really think about it, he's supposed to be inspiring hope into people. It's supposed to be a real love, a real connection when you see him. That's what it is. It's like, All Might always bringing out the best in most people. And shit, I guess it's almost like you can say he's keeping society up because of it. And he like glances at Shigaraki, who's like, this nigga cold, calculated eyes. It looked like Bakugo could have died 7 times while talking right there. And then he's like, Shigaraki started realizing, like, damn, society is gonna collapse if All Might dies. I gotta, you feel me? He started getting that conviction. He's like, it's All Might's fault that a society's like this in the first place. You feel me? Now, he doesn't say that out loud, but these are the things that's transpiring inside of him as he's laughing at at the situation. You feel me? He releases Bakugo's chest, jumps up straight to his neck. He still got one finger off the neck though. It's like, you're right. You're so right. It's all his fault. And Ochako shows up out of nowhere. You feel me? Let go of Bakugo. And my boy Shigaraki, he's like, oh, I didn't know you was here with friends, man. I would have let you go a long time ago. Thanks for talking to me, though, for real. And he jumped off and he was left. Bakugo was like, hey, wait a minute. What does All for One want? And, Shigaraki turned around and he was like, it doesn't matter what he wants. You should be more focused on what I'm gonna do. And, he disappears to the crowd. Bakugo was really thinking about going after him for real. But he was also worried about the motherfuckers that was in the building. If he was going to go after him, it would be outside the building. But even then, this motherfucker got a destructive ass quirk. We don't know what's going on with that. And yeah, Bakugo make a police statement. His mom show up. She done seen that this nigga done mellowed out over the courses of time. He was never as bad as he could have been because he was around Papyrus and Sans, but over even more time has passed, and she proud of her son. His dad there, proud of his son. He don't be giving on that much lip. He don't be talking back that much. He do sometimes though. Let them niggas talk about something outrageous. No, I'm joking. But for real though, All Might, the detective that know All Might identity, they all there. They chilling, man. They talking about All for One. They talking about how they gonna get this job done. Shigaraki go back to the crew. He done accepted all of them right now. He need all the help he can get. And he look at the boy, right? The one that didn't say nothing the first time. And he's like, I need at least something to call you by. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, I think we can get along well. And, boy, he leans off the wall. He's like, all right, I'll introduce myself. All for One sent me. Everybody, Korigiri, Shigaraki, they like, oh shit. This nigga don't look like no Nomu. What the fuck going on? You feel me? And he says, let's just say, because of recent events, we've gotten more acquainted. As, he looks at Shigaraki and he says, and, he looks at Shigaraki and, he holds out his hand and he's like, I'm prepared to make that dream of ours a reality. And Shigaraki can't be mad about it, man. He can't be mad about it. And really, that's where I'm ending it. This shit probably gonna be long as fuck. Anyway, that's that's where I'm ending it. Making an announcement. First of all, I'm sorry it took so long to come back like this, my guy. It wasn't supposed to be like this. At the same time, maybe it won't in the future. Anyway, no promises for real. I don't know. Genuinely, it could be anything. It could genuinely be anything. But it could be more, maybe. Anyway, so like I said, got an announcement to make. This will be my last Undertale What If video for a minute. I want the villain one to catch up a little bit more. It's kind of crazy to go through 2 different My Hero verses, and one of them is in the first season and the other one is in the second season. I just like it to catch up a little bit more personally. But that also doesn't mean that you'll be losing Sans. All right, I've thought about it, over the course of years. No, I'm joking. But I've thought about it, and you're gonna be getting another Sans. You feel me? I decided that when I make another series, I'm gonna make it on a Sans, like an alternate Sans. You feel me? A different dimensional Sans. You feel me? Comment your favorite Sans or something. Comment what you think it should be. I might mix and match. I might take some and add some. I might move some around a little bit. Who knows what could happen? I do. Only me. But that's besides the point. Me and God. That's all it is. No, I'm joking. But who knows what could happen? I already got an idea for this. Because people don't comment on my videos anyway. So it's not like I need y'all to comment. But, maybe I could though. I'll remake the announcement when the next video isn't an Undertale video, and it's a different sentence, and I'll, just in case nobody came this far, which is completely fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. Yes. Now it'll come back eventually, and then I'll be making 3 what ifs. You know, the Undertale one, the villain one, and whatever I make after the next what if. You'll see how it goes as I do it. All right, dang, yeah, come on now, give me some leeway, give me some grace, let me see some. Anyway, thank you God for the day and the night, and thank y'all for watching. Have a good day.